Hello, you wonderful people. It's this week's Gaming Gaming Roundup. And with me is Nige. So hello, Nige.
Hello, everyone.
So, what have you been playing?
I actually gave Battlefield 5 a bit of a download and a little go on that. Single player is not very good, but I had a little go on the multiplayer, and that's all right. It's what you expect from a Battlefield game.
I started playing Red Dead Redemption again and streaming it. So I think last weekend, someone at work, I lent them my copy of Red Dead, which they've had for ages, and they're about to give it back. And they thought they'd give it one last try. And then all of a sudden they've gone, this might be the greatest game ever made. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I bought it on my Xbox for 20 quid and on a sale. And I've been playing that. I've also been streaming it too. So when I get the story missions, I've been streaming them. And I managed to sort out my latency and everything. It's really good stream quality, which I'm really happy at.
What channel's the stream on?
It's the Gaming Face Punch Twitch channel.
So pop over there and have a look.
Yeah. I might stream after this. I'll might go for a big wee and grab myself a drink and get some streaming done. I'm doing it straight via my Xbox, so there's no bells and whistles. It's just kind of straightforward game streaming. And you can come chat to me if you want. I don't mind. I'm sitting there quietly by myself, just enjoying Red Dead Redemption. Anyway, with that...
Pure gameplay.
Anyway, with that, I think it's time we moved on to our first story. Sony announced a new Wipeout game. Yeah, they announced a new Wipeout game, and I'm worried that Sony are going down the bloody mobile phone route with their games and stuff, because they're releasing Wipeout for iPhone and Android. Apparently, it's a card-based racing game. Explain, please explain. It's not really clear to us. I love that bit of the article. It's not clear to me either. And I looked around and I couldn't find anything at all how it works. But they had an exclusive trailer previewed on IGN. Features 60 different ships from the original game and a single-player campaign with 12 championship cup races in 5 different environments.
Well, it sounds like a lot to it, but what the fuck?
What would you think? What if it was a mobile racing game and it was a racing game? That's fine.
Could drive
it's a mobile racing card game. It's a top trumps for Wipeout. Which one? You got faster acceleration than me. Oh, I win. Brilliant. Yes,
I've got a handle in 52.
I've got 4 corners. I read this and I wanted to see your reaction to this because I read this during the week and I'm like, what?
I understand if it was a mobile game that uses the accelerometer in the phone.
Oh yeah.
And you drive it like you would like a steering wheel, but not a freaking card game.
I don't get that. I really don't get that.
Don't understand. I think it's going to be one of those where people are like, what? I'll download it and have a look.
And then they get disappointed and then they delete it and never go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it
was always one of these fast, frantic racing games.
Plus techno music.
Beat. Yeah, techno beat going on and incredibly quick. And it just felt smooth as well. You know, you're going around the bends, you go a bit of a jump. Brilliant,
especially when we got to PlayStation 3 era, it turned into like roller coasters. It was really good. You had loop to loops, and you'd go down and straight up, and it was a mad game. And it's probably the only game that could probably compete with Nintendo's F-Zero. Actually, I think it might have been better in certain places. But to turn it into a card game, just dumb. Now, if there was a card game that existed in Wipeout that I'm unaware of that the pilots played, then that would make sense. But it doesn't, and I'm confused badly.
We'll be confused badly together.
Okay, All right,
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
It made
Why
nothing.
not racing game? Racing game. Anyway, on
Did
that
someone say
note.
car game or card game? Oh, it must be.
Oh yeah, they
card.
misheard them.
They
Oh, you
misheard
want us to
them.
make a card game? No,
Damn
a
it.
card game.
I bet that gets delayed now.
Anyway, let's move on to something a little less confusing. Classic gaming show Games Master returns to our screens later this year. Showrunner Klein McGiddy Cuddy? I have no idea. McGiddy Cuddle. I'm going to call him McGiddy Cuddle because that just sounds cooler.
It's a kitty cuddler.
Giddy Cuddle, or might be, it was in TV industry. Might be a kitty cuddler. Right.
The resolution I'm looking at, I don't know.
Right, yeah. Let me just see if I can zoom in a second. Yep, that's classic Apple zoom. Zooms in just a bit too much. Games Master is officially coming back as a brand new E4 TV show after notable 23-year absence from our lives. Games Master is returning in partnership with Oculus Quest 2 from Facebook. Someone was talking about Facebook gaming before we started, and will premiere later this year on E4's YouTube channel before airing on the channel itself. We got a chance to hear directly from Kind McKitty Cuddler what to expect from the games. All right, the first thing is the one notable thing that was always in the Games Master was Patrick Moore. Patrick Moore was the Games Master.
Sir Patrick Moore.
Unfortunately, Sir Patrick Moore, world-class astronomer and excellent xylophone player, is no longer with us.
Gamer.
Well-known gamer is no longer with us. So I'm worried that they're going to replace him with a woman.
I don't mind as long as I said this before about Games Master. There's a woman who does the show 8-bit gaming or something, whatever it's called, with Dara O'Brien, and she's actually really quite good, very knowledgeable about games, a bit nerdy. That's sort of what you would want, and I don't mind if she did it. But
she can be the host. It's the Games Master person.
To be the face. But the face, possibly Dara O'Brien.
I would say Dara O'Brien work. I would have liked the original Dominic Diamond to be the Games Master. He had very adult humor for a children's TV show. Because he's some of his stuff would just, because as a kid it flew over my head, but when you go back and watch it, it's like spicy. So yeah, I would like to see him as a Games Master, just out of irony. It would be good, I think, and fun.
I'm certainly interested to hear a little bit more, because Games Master was great to watch. And when you were a kid back in our era, we didn't have the internet as it is now. It was in its infancy, and this sort of stuff, not even a pipe dream. We had Games Master, and Games Master was brilliant in terms of people would send in their requests for the next week's show to give tips on certain games pre-internet. And they'd write into the show, I need to know what the code is for this level on this game. And they tell you what it is, or they can't beat a certain level because it's tricky, and they talk you through it and show you it.
There were a few funny ones where he turns around and Patrick Moore, as a Games Master, would turn around and goes, "No, I'm not telling you, little squirt. Go away." It was.
I think one of my friends from school, his name was Asif, and I think he got one of his letters read out. Tips on a game.
Oh, that's good. I'm interested to see how it's going to be. I just anything that's getting released in modern day always worries me.
But the article states that they're looking to keep it true to the original, pretty gritty, and it was like it was in the back of a warehouse sort of thing. That's what it looked like.
An abandoned church for the first episode. Then it was set in an abandoned pumping station in London, which they flogged off as an oil thing, where they Dexter Fletcher host it because Dominic Diamond was too spicy.
Well, I think if they keep the aesthetics similar and they keep the format similar, but a bit of a modern twist with what we're used to now in gaming and stuff. I don't see a reason why it could be a flop, but it depends what they do with it. And I'm interested to see a little bit more. I want to know who's going to host it.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
And who's going to be the games master?
If Dara Breen would make perfect sense. Yeah,
if
he was the face. Yeah, because he could do some snarky bits. Okay, let's move on to some more news, shall we? That's one of them. Battlefield 2042 delayed by a month. The pushback comes just over a month before Battlefield 2042 was set to launch. Battlefield 2042 was slated for release on October 22nd, but has been delayed. Electronic Arts announced today because of unforeseen challenges created by C19, because you're not allowed to say it. It has elected to push the game to November 19th. I'm not surprised. I'm expecting lots of delays like this. It's either going to be a buggy mess or it's going to get delayed, and I think I prefer delayed.
I would prefer it to be delayed, but really, they can't say. Really, can they really say unforeseen circumstances? Because we've been in this situation for 2 years, almost 2 years. How is it unforeseen? They should have said more like due to circumstances arisen through the word we can't say.
Yeah,
that would have made more sense to me. This is just a generic fucking excuse for everything now. It's a bit annoying, but I'd much rather it was delayed, not give some bullcrap excuse as to why. We're ironing out the bugs. It will get delayed. I much prefer that than having a buggy mess like Cyberpunk came out because people were pushing them. Much better.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. It's it's annoying, but we're going to see a lot of this happen with a lot of games. But as you said, we don't want a repeat of Cyberpunk. The problem with the problem with Cyberpunk is it was just not finished remotely. Yeah, it's like apparently there's 6 hours of gameplay and everything else is on a repetitive loop, and it's just like kind of choices were supposed to matter. No, choices don't matter after this, and all this hubbub. So, yep, I don't know what's going to get delayed next, but there will be other delays. I don't think Activision is going to delay Call of Duty, but that's because Activision. I haven't got any Activision stories, actually, I'll be honest with you. And actually saying that my next story is an Activision Blizzard story.
It's because it's Blizzard, right?
Yeah, it's Blizzard. Let's have one of these. World of Warcraft paintings changed to cut back on sexual content. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, sexual content. Another small change while employees and activists wait for more meaningful shifts. Right. This is a painful virtue signal to cover up the fact that they're getting sued to high heaven and their company probably won't exist anymore. So have a look at, we got like a Persian kind of belly dancer sort of person here, and if we scroll down, they've been replaced by a bowl of fruit. What the yeah, it makes guys. Yeah, we've made such strides for equality by removing women being feminine and replacing them with fruit. What the? And it's not even an apple. That's the thing that gets me. It should be an apple, kind of temptation sort of thing, but no. Yeah, because that made all the difference. That was your problem. It wasn't your management and your unprofessional behavior. It was your pictures. Yeah, we'll change the pictures.
The pictures in Warcraft that caused the whole issue.
Yeah,
let's sort them out.
So here we go. We got another picture here. A separate picture of a woman with a V-cut robe, emphasizing her bosom. has been modified to give the woman a less revealing top. I just like to point out that the woman with the bosom has got resting bitch face. So I like the face on the one with the covered up bosom, but I prefer the one with the bosom. Because everyone loves some bazungas. Yeah.
I think even women do.
Yeah, it's I find this a strange distraction.
I mean, they're in the middle of this big lawsuit, so they've got to be seen to be doing some work at Activision on WoW, right? They've got to be making some changes.
Yeah,
Got to be seen to be doing work. Oh, make a quick change. Oh, don't worry, I've pushed an update. What's the update done? Changed a few pictures.
Got rid of some bazungas. Got some nice bazungas and got rid of them.
To be honest with you, this comment, yeah, the picture on the right looks like a man with long hair.
Yeah. See, this is the thing when it comes to, if it came from me from my end, yeah, I would say the following: if there's a woman with her bazungas out, there should be a man with his chesticles out. Yeah, just for equality's sake. Yeah. So one woman with bazungas, guy with chest out. Yeah. So the straight dudes and lesbians are happy on this side, gay dudes and ladies are happy on that side. Win-win. Yeah, that's how I see it. Maybe it's because I feel old and having ideas of equality, actual equality is Saturday.
You're just an equal opportunity defender. That's
oh hell yeah, do it!
Everyone's fair game.
I don't understand this weird purity spiral that we are in when it comes to games and bits like this. It's just,
do you know what?
Absolute madness.
In the future, I bet you there's going to be no comedy clubs anywhere because they won't be able to take the
no. You'll have underground comedy clubs. Well, you'll have to be told where to go. So you'd sign up to a newsletter, you'll buy the ticket in advance, and then they'll send you a secret invite so you can go there and listen to some actual comedy. Meanwhile, Blizzard, who have, how can I put it, abused their staff, I would say both male and female alike, because I imagine they've probably done other really unprofessional things, are covering up boobs because they think that's a winning strategy. Well done, guys. Play those violins as a Titanic fucking sinks.
I'm still on this whole underground comedy club. I'd love to see the police turn up and going, come on, right, we'll break it up. And then this is not funny. You can't be doing it. You're right. There's nothing funny going on here, pal.
It's no laughing. Comedy club. There's no laughing matter. Funny thing is I almost signed up to a letter to find some underground comedy clubs because they're starting to exist. All right, okay, let's get onto our meaty story, the one that I looked at and went, ooh, that's interesting. I need to press that. Nvidia says PC leak is real, but the listings are speculative. Now, what happened was there was a leak from Nvidia where they had, I can't remember if it's their Now service or one of the services, but they were talking about PC ports on there, and they listed some really interesting ones. So, PlayStation 5's Demon Souls looks like it might be coming to PC. Cool. Final Fantasy VII Remake, that was pretty much coming to PC. Ghosts of Tsushima coming to the PC. These are all speculative, all right? God of War, that's the new God of War. Oh, it might be might be the old God of War, sorry. Horizon Forbidden West, pretty much happening. Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3, yep. Ratchet and Clank, yeah. But there were a couple of other interesting ones on there, and the one that grabbed me when I saw it was XCOM 3. Oh, I really want an XCOM game. That's a game that I can lose hours over. Really, it's one of my favorites. Tekken 8, a new Metro game, and GTA Remastered, which I think we covered a rumor on recently when they were shutting down modders. I think this has got a list of some of the games in here too. Yeah, because you've got like kind of the partner cross Legacy of Thieves from PS5. PC support specialist Nix. So I think it's that company we talked about a while back. We were hoping they were going to make games, and it looks like they're going to do PC ports. And I think they're going to do a ton of PC ports. GeForce Now, that was it. I couldn't remember the name of the bloody service. I knew it was a streaming service. Looks exciting. Getting a few more games coming in. I'm looking happy for this. They got Resident Evil 4. Is some other ones they've got? Resident Evil 4 remake, Dragon's Dogma 2, Talos Principle 2, Monster Hunter 6, BioShock 2022. I heard that Take-Two wanted to make a BioShock game, and that was about it. I think they were hiring a few people. Chrono Cross remake, not too sure on. Kingdom Hearts 4, no idea. Shin Megami Tensei 4, that one, no, that's not going to happen. Sorry. Dolphin Emulator, no, that's not going to happen. I can tell you that Super Mario Brothers Wii definitely won't happen on it, nor will Dolphin Emulator. That one I can say with 100% certainty is never happening. But it's nice. Dolphin's an emulator that runs Wii games and GameCube games.
Oh, okay.
So those ones aren't happening, but it's fun to speculate. I want an XCOM 3. I want some of these games. PC gamers could benefit from playing Ghost of Tsushima and God of War. I think God of War, the first one, the new first one on the PS4, Dad Simulator. That I think is definitely coming to PC, along with Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima. But there's the other one's the GTA remastered, because that's one of those ones. I've got another follow up on it, because where is it? Or is that? Have I got it the wrong way around? I went to the follow up first. Hang on, let's bring this up here. So this was originally compiled by developer Igor in July. So I don't know. Please give me.
This just means that they're thinking potentially their Nvidia or GeForce are thinking that potentially these games might come to the PC, and we know that Sony are letting a few of their Sony exclusive games be played on PC. So maybe they're just readying themselves in preparation, just in case Sony go, yeah, you can have some more games.
Yeah,
they're thinking Nintendo might, but there's no chance Nintendo would.
No, I can say that. No, never in a million years for that.
I can't see it.
So there was another one in there that had a Half-Life 2 rumor on it. Well, we're at 2. Anyway, it's annoying because there seems to be, and last console generation, this seemed to happen too. If you compared last console generation PS4 to PS3 game-wise, and Xbox One to Xbox 360 game-wise, there seem to be a lot more games come out compared in the 360 versus the Xbox One or the PS4. That era, that sixth generation, whatever it was, seemed to have more games out. I think that might be why I'm going, because it was like, for example, we got Grand Theft Auto. We got 2 Grand Theft Autos and a Red Dead Redemption. And in the PS4 era, we got a Red Dead Redemption. And the Grand Theft Auto remake doesn't count.
Grand Theft Auto was a PS3 game, wasn't it? Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
So they just keep remaking it. It doesn't matter. It's not. Just think of something new in that franchise.
I think the problem is that they're the developers who made it got old, and they didn't train up any young, exciting people to take over from them. If that makes any sense.
Trainees.
They never had that the proteges, step in and make things more exciting. Okay, let's move on to our next one. We'll have one of them. All right, scalpers are reportedly getting 30% less for PS5s, but Xbox X Series prices are holding firm, which is great. Well, it's not great actually when I think about it. It's great they're not getting as much money out of them, but at the same time, this needs to die. I kind of.
It does seem to be slowly dying.
It does seem to be slowly dying. If I
saying
told you,
even from midway through this year, it's dropped a further 5% from midway through this year. So from last year, yeah, it's dropped 30%, but since I think they said May in that article to now, it has dropped 5%. But then Xbox still the same as what they were selling it for.
yeah, it's odd. If I told you that rich people did this with houses to avoid paying taxes, would you believe me?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the reasons your house prices is going up is people are buying them and not living in houses. They're scalping houses. So yeah,
that's an extreme version of.
It is an extreme version of scalping. It's just when it comes to going through these consoles and stuff. I was thinking about getting an Xbox X series. I really was. I was thinking, what do I want for Christmas? I was like, I want a disc drive on my S. And I'm like, I could get an X series. The problem is, there's no problem actually. I could just buy it outright. I can afford it. Just getting it, finding it, having the patience to wait in a digital queue in order to order one, and hoping I don't get beaten by a scalper who will then want to sell it back to sell it on for 750 quid. I think the reason that the Xbox one hasn't dropped is I don't think there's much demand.
No, I don't think there's as much demand, and they don't want to maybe take a hit because obviously they've bought it for retail price, had it delivered to wherever it is, and then they need to then sell it. And when they sell it, they need to put the delivery cost on it as well as part of their cost. So they'll lose that money. And I just think they're sitting there. I don't think people are buying them.
I don't think people are buying them. Just a word to the wise for the listeners on the podcast. Get your Christmas gifts in early, mate. I'm planning on getting my Christmas stuff in early because I've got, especially if it's electronics, because I've got a feeling there's going to be a shortage. So just be aware of that. I've been tracking things and not going the way I want them to, and so just be a bit cautious in regards to that. Anyway, let's move on to a bit of a sadder story, shall we say? Sir Clive Sinclair, the creator of the ZX Spectrum, has died at age 81. Sir Clive Sinclair, probably perhaps best known for best known as the inventor of the enormously popular ZX Spectrum, and I know a person who loves the ZX Spectrum home computer, has died at the age 81 following a long illness. Now, the ZX Spectrum was pretty much what Nintendo was before Nintendo was. Games came in and it was good. So he started succeeded by creating a small range of calculators in the 60s, and I think he did a little watch after that. Then he gained notoriety for creating the first affordable mass market computer in 1980. The ZX80, which retailed for less than £100, which helped make him a household name. Then in 1982, the ZX80s had a successor, the ZX81, but most influence was the ZX Spectrum color-capable home computer, thanks to popularity of played in popularity by roles of kickstarting British software companies and creating games, things like Manic Miner, Chucky Egg, Jetpack, Lords of Midnight, Codemasters. Codemasters was one of the companies that was around because of that. Horace Goes Skiing and Night Law and stuff like that. Dizzy, you should have had done there too.
Oh, Dizzy, yeah.
Yeah, Dizzy.
So
dude,
I didn't have one of these. My friend had one. And whenever we used to pop over, we used to get this out and play, mostly Dizzy, actually. But it's a good little thing. It wasn't very big. And that's part of the charm. And those keys, just these rubbery things that when you push that slightly wrong angle would sometimes get stuck down half under the plastic casing. But that was part of the charm. And I think he was knighted.
Yes, he was Sir Clive Sinclair.
He was Sir. And although he had the Sinclair, he didn't just do this. He had he was trying to branch out into various things. I do remember seeing this sort of sit down bike with the white.
Yes, the Sinclair C5 electric bike. It was supposed to be an electric bike. It was supposed to be an electric vehicle, and the idea was he was ahead of his time, because if he was around now, he'd be giving Elon Musk a run for his bloody money. Because the idea was,
you're right. He was so far ahead of the game. He was born in the wrong era.
Yeah, he was born a bit too early. Here comes the interesting thing. Just talk about the Sinclair C5 for a moment. The idea of the Sinclair C5 was supposed to be like a small bike that a small electric vehicle bike that you could just take down to the shops and whatnot and do small trips with. Because most vehicle rides are short trips, so they're under 5 miles. Yeah, and if you had so you can imagine this: you've got your main car for that and the C5 for that, and if you had the battery tech and all the stuff that you've got today, I think it would have worked. I genuinely think it would have worked.
It was like imagine an egg put on its side, cut in half. It was bright white, where with 2 wheels, one front back, and your little steering wheel, like a handlebar.
Yeah.
And you sit down in it, and he was doing his best to sort of market it. That's it.
That's it there, yeah.
That's it.
It's simple
Maybe not too well.
Yeah,
I misremembered. It was so fucking long ago.
I'll be honest with you, it probably was white when it started off. It's probably dulled a bit.
But it's got pedals, you see. So
because you could charge it up a bit.
You could pedal.
And if required.
Look where we are now, right? You've got people who have mobility scooters everywhere.
Oh, I hate mobility scooters.
This would have been way cooler. Way cooler.
If you ever go back to Disney, Nige, you never had the scourge of the mobility scooters when you went to Disney. Yeah, we went there last time, and I hated it because every time we got on a bus, we had to stop because some bastard needed to get on with a mobility scooter, and it was just so annoying because they were clearly ambulatory, so they could move. Yeah, and the only time I looked at it was like, okay, when the actual disabled person used the disabled facilities on the bloody bus. But yeah, it's a shame because he did do a lot for it. It's like he invented the first digital watch. So long before the Apple Watch, he invented the first digital watch. I might have to rephrase that.
I think I remember seeing that. I think it looked quite cool. If I remember, like a black face, a bit like that, but black face with some
lights on it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, really. And that's why if you ever watched science fiction from the 80s onwards, they'd always talk about geniuses, and one of them they'd always use the word Sinclair as one of them because it was always a reference to Sir Clive Sinclair as the inventor, and people like that kind of pushed the world forward. There's like people talk about progress and stuff. This guy actually created progress, proper progress. Yeah, because you can see the leaps there because it's like the calculator, and you see the calculator, home computing, and then you get onto games consoles, proper computing, as in like kind of desktop IBM kind of standard computing, your Apple Macs and stuff like that, and then you get down to your phones and whatnot, and it all kind of just follows one on from the other. But someone has to invent something for it to follow on from, and this is what this guy did. Oh my God, do not say he went. Oh my God, right, okay. Right. He did his A-levels in physics and pure mathematics and applied mathematics at St. George's College, just over there, near me.
Oh.
So, yes, we know someone who went to St. George's College, and He wasn't a very nice person, shall we say.
I don't know if I know who you mean.
The Colonel, I think, is probably the best way of describing him.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know who you mean.
And James Prick also went there, according to his mail. That's what happens when you upset people, and they remember that one. Someone had put it down as James Prick rather than his proper name. But hey, you know, that's life. If you upset people, you upset people. Okay, so it's dude. This guy did lots. It's absolutely fantastic.
I think he really pushed the boundaries in terms of gaming in the household. Made it cheap enough for people to be able to afford it. I mean, £100 back then wasn't cheap. But then if you consider, you had Neo Geos coming out for $1,000 or something, $750, something like that.
Yeah.
The Amiga was, I think that was about £400-500, something like that. So consoling and personal computers back then were not that cheap, and so to have something for £100 that you could play games on
translates to about 360 quid in today's money.
There you go. See,
so
it's still that's comparable to isn't that what PS2, PS3 cost when they first come out?
Yeah, Xbox 360 and whatnot. Yeah.
So on point with his pricing, ahead of the time, moved the tech industry forward. People really got a taste for it. I mean, they were playing Pong and whatever, but this was 2D graphics, man. This was little sprites jumping around and moving, and
it was the putting the tape in, walking away, waiting 5-10 minutes, coming back and see if it loaded.
Yeah.
This was well, I coded my first game on an Amstrad, and it took 2 days to code, and I couldn't turn the machine off because you couldn't just press save.
No, you had to leave it.
I got a thing from I think it was the Times. Had to do this basic kind of game. It was like the slidey board things that you get. You get these little plastic toys where you have to glide the shapes around to match the image, and it creates the image. It was one of them, and that took me 2 days to program. So yeah, that was one of those kind of things.
I only used to follow the most simple things on the Commodore 64. You had the similar sort of 10 print and then 20 go to 10 and stuff like that. I used to do the most basic one. God, it must have been about 10, 8 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
And used to rig it up. I'd follow the things that are written down in some magazine and get my nan to come up, and there it goes, enter your name, and she'd enter her name, and it would follow a pattern.
Yeah,
very basic. Very basic.
Yeah. Those were the days. BBC Micros used to do that in the library. Library sucks. Go run. Edgy. But he did so much, and we should have really. If I'd have thought about it, I should have got Babster on for this one, because he's the Spectrum. He's the Spectrum guy. He's got Spectrum News and all this other stuff. And I think he'd probably give us a different perspective on it. But there's a song called Hey Hey 15K, and one of the lyrics is Hey Hey 15K. What does that get you today? That's old school RAM pack. You need more than that for a fucking email. Yeah, that's not how the lyrics goes. But yeah, it was. Oh man, it's a tragedy. I wish he would have tried doing his little bike again, because you can imagine that you have a little pod thing like that. Just pop down there. You got some cargo space in the back to pop shopping in. May have taken off, because it would be a case of you'd have an electric vehicle to save you fuel, and it wouldn't require tons of lithium and this, that, and the other. And it would have worked, I think. I think it was somewhat ahead of his time in places, but
probably be a bit more. It would probably being allowed on the roads and public paths in the UK, unlike electric scooters, which are illegal in the UK. That because his thing was pedal powered, and you could pedal or use the electric, much like electric bikes.
Well, I think it would be the best idea just to replace it to have pure electric come in.
Yeah, well, I think the government wouldn't allow it then if it didn't have pedals, because the electric scooter would be the same.
Well, no, because it would be the equivalent of a moped. Yeah, think of it as a moped because it wasn't. It was sit down. Yeah, the reason they don't like electric scooters is there's lots of little shit kids running around on them. Oh, well, poor C5. I actually remember seeing that on Tomorrow's World. I'm thinking about it and looking at the pictures. I remember seeing that on Tomorrow's World when we used to have TV programs that showed us about future technology. Did you ever see the Tomorrow's World with the CD-ROM? Where they got the CD-ROM, they scratch the CD-ROM and goes, look, I won't affect it. It'll be fine. It's like, bollocks. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. Yeah.
I remember that.
Anyway, he will be missed. NT, crikey, he's written a ton of books. Most of them revolving around transistors. So anyway, Clive Sinclair, Godspeed. Well done. You did good. You did good, sir. You put more good in the world than you left. So right. On that note, I'm tired. Can't concentrate. Got a really dry mouth. I have no drink. I never brought any water up before the broadcast, so talking has been a bit more difficult, especially towards the end. So Nige, you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, goodbye, and come back.
Factoids tomorrow on Monkey Nut Punch channel at 4:00 UK time. Come watch, have a laugh. It's me versus Keith. Nige will be back, and he's going to help me win, aren't you, Nige? Nige, you're going to help me win, aren't you?
I don't help anybody win.
Anyway, Nigel's going to help me win tomorrow, so he's going to declare whatever headline I put up is the winner. So I've got no pressure on. I just have to get the win, and that's it. Game over. And we will see you then. And then there's the Monkey Nut Punch, thing on Sunday. Yes, where we'll be talking about stuff. There's quite a few bits coming out. I can't remember what they are. I think it's James Bond trailer and some other stuff. I'm rambling. Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
And we will see you in the next one. Wave, Nige.